Why do I want people to die? That's hilarious, Captain Crunchel. Do you deny the coronavirus? What's your motivation for denying the coronavirus? Do you deny? Do you deny the coronavirus? So the thing is Captain, it's fine what you're saying or whatever, but you just came in like a person that isn't confused. You're coming in like a person that's accusing, like you aren't confused, like you already know what you have your mind made up about whatever you're going to say. Why do you want people to die? What's your motivation? You don't know shit about me. So, and then you say, oh, it's just super confusing. Like, I really don't understand. You don't seem like an honest person. That's what's going on right now. So if you want to do something called like arguing in good faith or whatever, do what you want. You know, I know you're serious. You seem like a dishonest, untruthful person. So I know you're serious. So I'm going to fuck with you until you just be like a normal person that's wondering some shit. You know, if you're really curious, then you wouldn't come in like, why do you want people to die? I just want to fat myself. I just want to do it. I want to do it myself. But why do you want people to die? I bet look, are you pro-choice? I just want to know why you don't think the virus is a threat. So you want to know that now, or do you want to know why I want people to die? Like, that's your real question? Why I think that? Because there's a ton of evidence. Where do you want me to start? The source is awful, which isn't even an argument. But the source being the mainstream people that hate us, that's got some questions. I have my questions about the tests. I have a question about germ theory and terrain theory and the origins of virus in the first place. I have questions about all kinds of things. I have evidence right in front of my face. No one really gets sick. Like, the amount of people that actually get sick that people can name is not that many. There's been so many fake stories about people lying about it. You know, all kinds of stuff. I hope you stick around, Cat, and you'll learn. Read the chat. Less than 1% death rate is not a threat. Yeah, less than 1% death rate is not a... Yeah. Okay. Add to the conversation, says Peterson. I love you guys.
Trump says masks are good. Listen, the Orange Man Bad said it. Listen, Captain, do you like Trump? Because if you like Trump, you should do the opposite of what he says. And he wore a mask, so you shouldn't.
You were not. I was never going to address everything you say when you came in saying, why do you want dead people? You can eat a dick. I hope you stay around, and then I hope it's different. Great. I don't care about your justification. I'm done. You're almost on muting status. You can come back or whatever. Do I like democracy? I mean, I don't think it's that good of a system. It's one of those things that's not inherently good or bad. Like, it being held in a high regard inherently I'm definitely anti that. Do you think people affected by decisions should be the ones making the decisions? That's complicated. Let me counter back to you. Do you think all people affected by decisions? I mean, what you're talking about is basically no government. If you want that to be the dictator of what happens, it's like who gets affected by it gets to decide. You're talking about no government at all, which I'm down with. That's still government. So anarchy, yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. If there's any control of involuntary control of people, it's not really government. But if you were able to make that system, it would probably be my system, Captain Crunch. So I'd play ball. No, it's not democratic government, yo. No, democratic government means 51% of the population get to decide. If it's 51% of the people or more, they get to decide what everybody does. That's what democracy is. You're not describing democracy at all. Well, I know we don't have direct democracy, Gosling, but let's take it on the premise that that is direct democracy. But what you're describing is not at all, Captain Cruncho. That's personal sovereignty, being like everyone be sovereign would be that. It'd be like every person who speaks for themselves, that's it. I'd be into that. Democracy means if me, you, and another person in our room together, me and that person can vote 2 to 3 to steal your shit. You down? Yeah, you down? Me and you were chilling with, I didn't mean to like shut you down, but like direct democracy is a nightmare for sure, and we don't have it. Gosling is right, but I'm just saying, look, can me and that other guy steal your shit, Captain Crunchel? Yeah, are you pro-democracy? Who's pro-democracy? No one is pro-democracy. That's the truth. No one is pro-democracy. Name me a single person that would agree to democracy in like all cases. It's utterly insane. Well, I'm definitely pro-secession. Now we're talking. See, Captain, I'm glad you stayed, because I'm seeing that if you're pro-secession, you might belong here. I would love to see you split. I mean, I think secession is the peaceful secession is the only way to go. You're a communist. Welcome. Welcome. Are you black? Are you a black commie? Welcome, my communist friend. Are you inside of the is there a hierarchy in your ideology? I love it. I'm glad I did the stream tonight, guys. But in communism, you gotta force so much people to do shit or you kill them. So I'm pro-secession communist, man. I mean, like, look, that's not all bad. I'm pro you being able to have that ideology. Most communist shit doesn't work that way. I mean, look at all the times that communists did that shit and it just ended up with like stacks of bodies, man. You know? So are you one of the good communists? Like, you know, like, what's your opinion on stacks of bodies that disagree with you? Like, what are you willing to do to make other people conform to your ideology? Yeah, I mean, I know what government control, what collective control of the means of production is. So that's what most people are meaning when they say communism, but collective ownership of the means of production. You know, and usually it's the state. So school me though. If it's your ideology, I'm listening. Hardcore. Communism is a stage in society where there's no state, money, or borders. What about the shit though? What about the property? Like, what about the actual shit you produce? Like, I would like to move to a no-money society, too. Like, barter sounds good to me, but who owns the shit? I've read the Communist Manifesto twice, though. So's anarchy, what you're talking about, other than people can't have voluntary money. Like, voluntarism is the same thing, except it has property ownership. And if you're telling me that you can't own a house, go ahead, but I can. So communism involves force. Anarchism is not the same thing as communism. I mean, it has elements of it. For communism to work, millions have to die. I agree. I agree that millions have, you know. I'm just asking, how can you justify it so like if they don't have to in the future, you know? But anarchism, right-wing anarchism or volunteerism is those things, except for no commune. Like, everyone gets to own shit. Communism is better for a nation than neoliberalism. I agree. The system is going to lead to the destruction of the West, and it's all nations. Communism is better. I agree. I think communism is better than feminism for a nation, but I'm also anti it. You know, I'm pro property ownership. You know, neoliberalism is terrible. All productive property under communism is to produce for the community as a whole. The idea of private property should be viewed in a historical context. I'm out, dog. That's gonna be a no from me, dog. I don't buy into your commune, though. What if they refuse, man? Do you kill them? What do you do if they refuse? I've never gotten a clean answer to this out of a commune. Then they can secede. What if they don't want to? What if they already live there? What if they live in a landlocked house inside of your town? What if they live in a landlocked house inside of their town the day before your commune takes over? What happens? Or you buy them off? I thought there's no property. You know, what do you buy them off? Do you force them out? No, that's not your choice. See, now saying they would benefit from communism, they get to choose that. You don't get to choose that. What happens? What happens if they have a private landlocked house in the middle of town the day the communists take over? They can't get out. They don't want to leave. It's their land. Don't care if they would benefit. They don't care. What is their class? You're about to commit genocide. You're about to commit some fucking atrocities, bro. What is their class? Why is it relevant? Same as yours. They make $1 less than you, Captain. They make $1 less than you. How about that? What is their class? Yeah, Wang Choco, what's up, dog? What's up, baby? Dude, that is crazy thing to say when you put with Fort like that hypothetical. That is not your shit, Captain. Yeah, you're about to stack bodies, Captain. You may not know it, man. You're probably a good dude a little bit, you know? They'll be integrated into society where the working class will be the primary decision makers. What if they don't want to integrate? You cannot get a clean answer out of a commie on this, yo. What if they won't? What if they work online, they get all their shit, they grow all their own food? They can't. They don't want to. It's their shit. Give me a clean answer or you're talking about stacking bodies, dude. Give me a clean answer or you're talking about stacking bodies and you just don't know it. You're just not red-pilled hard enough, son. Tell me an answer. They won't leave. They don't want to integrate into society. They own their own property. It's inside of a landlocked place in a town the day before the commies take over, and they have guns. What are you going to do about it? No. Answer my question. There's so much freedom compared to that inside of the United States. I don't agree with the U.S. law either. Now you're moving the goalpost, which means you're an inept arguer. So unmove the goalpost and give me an answer. Like that's just a different question. And if you watch this program for more than a week and you're making the argument towards me that U.S. law is good, watch for a week. We're done arguing. If I'm so anti U.S. law that it's not even an argument in this place. What happens in your society, communist? We're not talking about this society. We're talking about you being a communist. Very early in the revolution, Lenin had to admit that they needed to kill people. 100%. It's impossible as an ideology unless you secede. you secede. The only thing that matters is the hypothetical that I put forth. Like really, I mean, since I'm running the stream, you know, in your house or whatever, but I'm telling you, I've seen at least 10 debates at this point. Look at Ben Burgess talking about this with Dave Smith. I've never heard a clean answer from a commie on this. I don't think you can do it. The more I think about it, I just say freedom or free market, non-coercion, voluntarism, you know, but capitalism is gay, you know, free market's cool. The difference between a fascist enemy and a communist enemy is that the characteristics that make up the enemy of the fascist cannot be removed, but the characteristics that make up the communist enemy can be taken without force. Define fascism, first of all. Second of all, how can you take my property without force? You know, what are you talking about? The things that you don't like is class, is people succeeding essentially at building wealth, right? So how can you take my shit without force? How do you take Sergeant Peterson's property without force? Let alone me. I'm tougher than Peterson. Do I know the difference between private and personal property? Commies take both personal and private property. Yeah. How do you imagine that you can take my toothbrush, sir? How can you imagine taking my toothbrush? Good way to imagine is personal is stuff you can defend with your presence. Private property is stuff you need the state to protect or maintain the operation of it in your interest. Yeah, so I would not be a fan of the latter at all. I'm not a fan of public property at all. I'm a fan of 100% personal property, by your definition, but I don't accept your definition. I just call things property. Personal and private are interchangeable. You require the state. Well, that's not much if the state gets out of the way. No, you just got trapped by the state in that situation. That's the state like pretending that it's helping you when really committing violence against you. You know, that's bullshit. Private property is like a factory that's owned by a capitalist. But what if he owns all of it? What if he owns the land? What if he owns the everything? That's what you would call personal property. No, dude, that's what's going on, Captain. The state is your god because you think that the state has the highest authority. That way, like, so you're pro like C of O licensing, and like, do you think that the state should like be able to have ownership of the call, like whether to call something a business? That's the problem. The capitalist uses the state to defend the factory. Fuck capitalism, dude. Capitalism blows. Let's talk about freedom rather than capitalism. That word's dead. You still haven't answered my question though, Captain. It really makes me think that you want to stack bodies and you don't know it. That your end thing, it's not that you want to, but it makes me think that your end result is going to be stacking bodies, but you don't know it because you won't answer my question about my town. Captain, okay, it's the last time I'm gonna repeat it, man. Okay, a family of 12, there's 12 people in your town, in a landlocked town. There's no safe passage out. They want to stay there. They own the land. They own the property. Everything in it, it's a family of 12. Commies take over the next day. Okay? They're there the day before the commies take over. They don't want to leave. You offer them the chance to secede. They won't do it. What do you do with them? Like, what do you do with those people that live inside the town? They don't want to leave. The landlocked decide they don't want to. Like, but I'm saying that you can't carve off the outside slice, like true secession. They live there, man. You wouldn't do anything to them. Then you don't live in communism. So they're in that town. You don't need to. So you're saying, but what if they are more successful than the rest of your town? They would be, man. Communists are not good at producing shit. They would be, dude. They would beat your town. Eventually they would do something. They would build another house. Like, or I guess if you wouldn't give them any property. I mean, I don't know. That's a good hypothetical. But if you're saying you wouldn't do anything, then we have business. Then we have business that like we can like come to this table together. If you're saying you would you sign? Would you sign some? Would you put your? Would you defend them? What about the rest of your buddies? How about that? I'm not talking about communism, bud. I'm talking about you, Captain. I'm talking about you. Those people in that landlocked town. What about the rest of the people in the town that are communists? Would you defend those people if they tried to kill them? What if they own a factory that produces shit? If they own a factory, then they can keep going. I would just argue that that's not true. Like the communism that's been done. but so now, okay, so now we are truly down to business now, Captain. Name me an example of it where it's worked out that way. Send me some articles. Yo, Captain, I'm telling you, join the Discord server, man. Join the Discord server, send me articles and stuff. We've had a couple things like this where it was like ideological polarizations. Sometimes it's worked out, sometimes it hasn't. We just got spammed by gay shit one time. Like, spammed by gay shit. It was gay, nonstop gay. But I'll listen to your arguments, and I'll even have you on the show if you want to talk. You know, I really enjoy this. What I'm talking about is kind of utopian. Like, utopian? That sounds like a terrible situation. Having a factory of free marketers in the middle of a communist town? That doesn't sound utopian. Yeah. Captain's a commie. That's what he says. If they take the land and kill or imprison, that's how it worked in Russia. And Jaina, people think freedom means do as thou wilt, which is satanic. I always like the alternate, like literally do as thou wilt. Like, do this as you wilt. Like, as your body wilts. I asked you an example where it worked out. Socialism, communism cannot just emerge. There needs to be sufficient material conditions, and there's always outside forces that crush attempts. I was pro-Chaz. I'm pro-autonomy. So the thing that you don't have to worry about is I back your right to secede, Captain. 100% back your right to secede. I don't know what's more honest, like saying you wouldn't do anything or saying that everyone would die. Because it's very like innocent and naive, thinking that like nothing would need to be done about those people, but the people that are like, no, I just kill everyone, those are the people that are telling the truth, because that's how communism has ended like most of the time. Now the state's a problem too, though. Like, I'm not a fucking idiot. Like, I'm not a bootlicker. The state is such a problem, but communism doesn't really work out that way. Have fun getting all the blue collar people to agree with that, to all this intellectual shit. I mean, I'm definitely not one of those people that are like the rednecks and the blue collar and the working class won't understand it. I think they don't give a fuck about what you're saying, Captain. Like, I am relatively like upper middle class, and I'm like both my parents are like intellectuals, so I get it. I'm well read, but like, good luck having the rednecks. And the rednecks, the white trash, the black trash, buy into your shit. But you need the colleges to persuade people with this crazy propaganda brainwashing. But try to go to a good old boy and present these ideas. Start a business in a commune and see what happens. It's ridiculous. You seriously believe in the labor theory of value? I've run a business for 20 years. You will never take my efforts. Yeah, like, so I'm just saying, it's like, dude, what if Boulder is like the contractor in your commune, and he doesn't want to leave. He's like a property owner. He owns everything, and he owns a factory, and he wants to expand, and he wants to hire your fellow communists. That's a better question. Do you let Boulder take communists that will be persuaded by the free market? That's the question. What do you do then? What do you do when Boulder Bond starts peeling off commies with his production that he owns in his factory? That's a good question. And if you answer that, we'll even go a step further. But what do you do if Boulder tries to hire commies from inside? Yeah, exactly. Boulder says, I can buy commies back to capitalism, no problem. I bet you can. Yeah. You're never gonna, yeah. I hope you come back. I'm glad I didn't time out. You just came in hot. Like, why do you want people to die? A communist saying, why do you want people to die, is one of the most ridiculous opening statements. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that you want everyone to die, but communism has killed so many people, dude. Like, how dare you? I'm actually not offended, but it's just like from like a precedent level. A communist coming into a chat and saying, like, why do you want people to die? Like, say hello and buy me dinner, You can't make an argument without moving a goalpost. I didn't come into a chat and say, why do you want people to die? People like you cannot argue for shit. I'm saying that labor being the determining factor is not true. It's the materials, or it's actually what the market uses. But I'm just saying, like, it's the measurement of value is not labor. I know workers don't ever get paid that full 50, but they didn't start the whole thing themselves. So if they want their full thing, they gotta own shit. That's the only way to do it. If they want the whole, and even then you got bills and shit, because they didn't earn it. Yeah, I love you. But just stop being a little ankle-biting bitch, dude. It's your first time here. It's not even that right wing, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I identify with the cultural right. I know a lot of people in the chat don't feel that way. I think it's useful to talk about. We're out of time, guys. Much love, guys. Much love. That was fun. Oh my goodness, man. Thank you to the new communist. I appreciate that, Captain. It's all love, man. Come back. Come back. Come back. Come back.